Hi, I'm Bubs, and today I'll be talking about Duplicate, one of my heroes that I've made up with an interesting superpower and backstory. So let's get right to this. I'll be continuing to do the whole medieval times since we're not done with this whole thing. I am planning on doing a video, probably next video, I'll do a video on one of my more interesting characters with more interesting stuff happening. So I'm gonna be next video I'll be doing one on a really interesting guy. Okay, I'm just no need to hype it. Whatever. It's late. So Duplicate, the story starts off in the year it was I forgot what year I put it in. I think it was 2592. Yeah. In the year 2592, in a timeline that doesn't exist anymore, there was a man. Oh, I forgot his name. Oh, and I don't have the thing. Whatever. There was a man who lived a peaceful, normal life, wasn't married, and his family wasn't out of the ordinary. And he grew up hearing the tales of the great heroes in the golden age of heroes and villains and stuff. So he always wanted to be a true hero. So he used his ability, which allowed him to duplicate himself and objects that he's holding. So if he's touching an object, he can duplicate that once. So he can like make a copy of an object he's holding or a copy of himself. He cannot just like do instant ban 10 copies of an object. No, you would have to duplicate once and then grab that object again and then duplicate it again and just it would be a long process. So whatever, he has the ability to duplicate himself. Once he duplicates himself, his duplicate and him can duplicate himself again. So he doubles every time. So it's times two every time. So the first one is just one turns into two, two turns into four, four turns into eight, eight turns into 16, and so on and so forth. However, that math problem thing that people do all the time with that goes. And whatever. So, I mean, he mostly duplicates himself due to that reason. But yeah, he would duplicate himself and do a bunch of charity work in this year. There's still manual labor. The robots didn't take over everything. But on a particular day, the sky started to form what looked like a light of crack light, whatever, as if somebody was like punching the sky to bits and just pure light was oozing out and around, all around.
Do you wanna
What? Pretzel? Soft oven pretzel. Yeah, I would like soft oven pretzels. Hey, Mr. Wolf. Hey, Mr. Wolf. Hey, Mr. Wolf wanted. Well, Mr. Wolf is right now watching Around the World in 80 Days with our mom. Yeah, but I decided to do this video because you subs come first. That would be a horrible thing. But whatever. So this beam of like pretty much pure white light, whatever it touches just evaporates into the light, and it just pretty much seems like a huge incinerating beam of aurora borealis. Yeah, that would. Yeah, whatever. If the aurora borealis was an incinerating beam and moving around, incinerating stuff, and coming down to touch the ground, whatever. Yeah, like that. And then so it just seems to be just incinerating this stuff, and some stuff have been being sucked up into this huge crack in the sky, and everybody's freaking out. So Duplicate, seeing some of the stuff being a majority of the stuff is being sucked into it, but there's like some beams of lights hidden down and then spread and incinerating stuff. So not a lot of people know what's going on. Everybody gets evacuated. So far, North America and Africa, along with Australia, are the only ones being affected by this light phenomenon. Duplicate takes a bunch of people and they go and they get transported to Site A. And everybody's being safely secured aboard Site A that are in these affected areas. And I'll touch more about Site A in later videos. I'm just mentioning it now. And I'll go into more depth later. I'll probably talk about Site A, B, and like other facilities and bases that I have made up for doomsday cataclysmic events or people's hideouts and whatever. But whatever. So all the people in infected areas get transported to Site A. Well, Site A point 3 because Site A gets destroyed 3 times, and this is the third version of Site A. No, wait. I'm thinking of the butterfly ship. Okay, whatever. So the butterfly ship gets destroyed 3 times. Site A has not been touched. No, it does get destroyed once, but whatever. So Site A, whatever, was this huge facility built and whatever. So the people are like being transported to Site A that is still kind of being in the middle of being built. It's still top secret, but the government releases it because of this cataclysmic event, releases the details of Site A. So this is the first appearance of Site A. Everybody's confused, whatever. I'm going off track, whatever. So people are start going to this experimental site that the government has been making, classified Site A, to help protect humanity against threats of other worlds and realities. And so the whole reason Site A was being built is because some dude, so towards the end of the Golden Reign, a guy came and annihilated all the heroes and half of the universe that this world is in. And then after conquering it, ruled over the world and then moved on to the next dimension, But one time he finally died and whatever. This evil ruler is now dead or whatever. But just in case an event like that happened again, they built whatever. So people are being transported to Site A. Some people are not being teleported, and because it's like being built, a bunch of people get trapped in between Site A and they're teleported, and then having their atoms split apart and can't reform. This is somewhat important, but not that important because there is a character that comes out of this, but whatever. So some people are, when they're being teleported, can't reform and just stay separated and whatever. And some people are being teleported through this seemingly void that's destroying everything, and they're being incinerated on the spot. So 5 people make it to Site A, Duplicate, and 4 others. And they're the only ones that make it to Site A. 2 of the 5 start, prepping stuff because they're actually employees trained to help with Site A and whatever. So they're starting to like guide, and Duplicate wants to go back along with one other person named, it was Sharon. So Duplicate and Sharon want to go back, and then the 2 people are trying to convince them to stay. They argue and fight, and the 5th random person is just there watching all this happen, watching 2 because. And he just starts saying, "Hey, yo, guys, what about all the other people?" And then they realize that, yeah, either they were incinerated by the light or they weren't fully teleported. And the crew members are like, "We have to go to the engine room and start fixing the teleportation system and get this problem fixed before more people die. And they rush off to that. Duplicate and Sharon, said Sharon, right? Whatever. Sharon. They go and they hop on the transport back and they get teleported to Europe in London. So they get teleported back into London, and Sharon and takes Duplicate to these generals because Sharon is an ambassador to the British government, to America, whatever. She was an American ambassador from Britain, and however that stuff works. Whatever. I say whatever too much. So count how many times I said whatever, and then make it a meme and like dubstep it, whatever, and whatever. Whatever. So yeah, continuing the story. So Duplicate and Sharon make it, and they're trying to get a handle, and some of the scientists are explaining their hypothesis. They believe that one of three things are going on. Either it's the end of the world and all of reality is folding in on itself and everything is being destroyed and there's nothing to stop it. The second one is some dude is releasing this unknown energy that has only been recorded in the past by a scientist gaining access to a dimension and naming the weird energy nothing, which has the capability to make nothing exist. Whatever comes in contact to this energy no longer exists, and it breaks all the laws of everything because there's no black holes or anything that happened. It just never did exist in the first place. So nothing would happen because it never was there. Or the third one, somebody went back in time and is truly royally messing up the timeline. And now reality is folding in on itself, like wrapping in and then folding back out and send down new tracks, pretty much. So they're like one or the other. So the only way to truly understand is to send somebody in there and then have them tell us what is going on. So Duplicate volunteers with a group of other people to go fly towards the nearest light, and then Duplicate will duplicate himself because he's connected to all of his duplicates. So when he makes a clone to himself, it's a hive mentality. So everyone knows what the other person's going on and stuff, but he can also just focus on one duplicate or like 1,000. So they give him the green light to want him duplicate himself and have that duplicate go into the light and then see what happens. Because if it's one, the end of the world and all realities is ending, or two, the nothing energy is going off, then if it's the end of all realities, then he would know what the duplicate feels before he dies. If it's the nothing energy, Duplicate will not feel anything. There would be absolutely nothing, and nothing would feel off to him. So, and then if it's the time thing, then he would feel himself being propelled through time and probably be able to tell what time zone he's in, and maybe, just maybe, how about that? So they take him to this one, Sharon, who's also, Sharon, whatever her name is, I change names constantly, whatever. She's also a pilot, so she takes him on a shuttlecraft that has a hovering capabilities and whatever. It's the future. They have hovering capabilities now. And they take this hovercraft and they fly towards the nearest one and stop before the gravitational pull is like super strong and pulls the shuttle in. So Duplicate ties himself to a tether line. Well, doesn't tie himself. He connects like a tether line fiber cable thing to his to a safety belt and have that hooked onto the ship. Then he accesses the main doors and climbs up on top of the ship and duplicates one of himself in front of him. So he can also, within 6 feet, he can duplicate and place himself somewhere 6 feet around him. So yeah, he duplicates one of himself 6 feet in front, and they get sucked into get pulled by the gravitational pull into the light. Now, as he's being pulled, and just about before he vanishes out of sight, Duplicate sees a bunch of dinosaurs, and the whole mental connection snaps, and everything disappears. So then he duplicates himself one more time. This time he sees a giant spaceship crashing into I forgot what a giant spaceship crashing in. Why can't I remember? Whatever, crashing into the ocean. Whatever. Yeah, I'll just go with that. A giant spaceship crashing into the ocean. It crashes into something and then slides into the ocean, but I don't remember the name of the place it crashes into at this current moment. Whatever. So it crashes into the ocean, and then the line snaps again. So then he gets back into the shell, and the shell flies back, and he relays this to all the scientists. So now they confirm that it's just pretty much the fabrics of reality being untangled and then snapping back together, just restarting everything. And right now, half of the world is gone. It's been like a couple of hours have passed, and half of the world has been consumed, and parts of the universe is also consumed. So everybody's just like, okay, so how are we going to do this? And Duplicate suggests that he duplicates himself numerous amount of times into the time stream and have him stop whoever untangled it and then retangle it to keep this timeline connected and save reality. Well, this reality of time. Everybody likes the idea and gives them the green light. So him and Sharon takes them back to the whole crack thing, and then he starts pumping out multiple duplicates of himself, duplicating himself and having those duplicates duplicate again. It takes 10 seconds for him to duplicate himself. Well, it takes 10 seconds to duplicate anything. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. It always just takes 10 seconds for some reason. It's just some unwritten rule for duplicate that it has to be 10 seconds. So he duplicates himself and has his duplicates duplicate themselves and try to duplicate really fastly and before they get sucked in. And all this time he's trying to just think of all the history in the world and try and have it somewhat be put back together the way it was. So he's constantly doing it, and then out of nowhere, another crack forms open, and a giant metal bunny ear comes hurling in and hits the ship that Sharon's piloting, and it just spins around and goes straight into the time reality, whatever thing it is, and they get lost in time, whatever. And then Duplicate wakes up, and a year he does not know, and just in some random field and starts walking around trying to figure out what in the world's going on. Then he comes across a village and recognizes people inside this medieval looking village as himself. And he goes there and he's just like, "Hi there." And they're like, "Oh, hi there. Who are you?" And he's like, "Oh, like I said, I don't remember his real name." He's like, "Oh, I'm so and so." "Oh, hi, Mr. Wolf, coming to give me pretzels." Yeah. So, hold on, Mr. Wolf. You know the game we played, or the duplicate and stuff. So,
which one? With him trying to save himself?
No, the one where he tries to sell himself, and then the one where he tries to get refund and whatever. So, it was Razzlequack that was the pet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he goes in and he sees this guy, himself, having Razzlequack. Oh, and wait. Did he not meet anybody? Oh,
yes,
he goes to the arena.
That tried to get him into the
Yeah,
arena.
yeah, he goes to the arena. Whatever. He goes to this village, becomes the village chief, and everybody there is either named Joe, Steve, or Bob. And yeah, he becomes the village chief. Then later he goes to a nearby town, which is which has an arena in it, and this kingdom pretty much just sells fights and stuff. So they do constant arenas and stuff. So he joins the arena, and he meets Sharon in the arena, and she is totally flipping out of what's going on, and they start to realize that this reality is not theirs, and they probably slipped into a different dimension, which, well, with our current conversation, you probably might know. But yeah, Duplicate, as he was duplicating into the time stream, some of them got slipped in to Mr. Wolf's dimension and into that time stream. So Duplicate's both in my regular timeline and Czar's Dimensions timeline. So he's in. I don't remember exactly how I made him up and why, but yeah, he's pretty much in every single time zone except. So he's in every time zone up until I forgot. It was like 21,029. He's in every time zone up until that point, and then the last of him dies, and he's no longer in any more time zones. So he duplicated enough of himself to be in literally be in every time at like a certain age, whatever, and every time up until that point, and then the last duplicate dies of old age and whatever. But yeah, that's somewhat the less complicated version of Duplicate. Sorry it took so long. There's 2 videos that have a link to our Discord if you want to join, if you have Discord. I hope the volume's not too loud. If it is, then it's my fault. No, it's your fault. Your fault for having me make a video and stuff. So yeah, 2 of our videos have the link to our Discord. You just have to find it. I'm not gonna tell you dudes or girls. I don't know. And thank you, subscribers, for subscribing to this random hodgepodge of a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, and today's my birthday. Happy birthday, me! Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you guys. So next year you can I don't know, say something like happy birthday. Or if you're in our Discord, you can say happy birthday to me today or whenever you can. But yeah, see you all next time in this wacky, crazy world. Bubs out.